Hello, hello, hello. Finally in the garden making a video. It is getting chilly. I have to wear winter clothes. This is really bizarre. When inland it is really, really hot, like in the 90s, 100, and here it's like 60 degrees. It's really crazy. But, the apples are coming out, they're getting red. It's really nice. And I want to talk about psychology as always. And I want to talk a little bit about what I observe. I want to clarify some misunderstandings and all of that in making a video. Whatever you want to do, just make sure you lock the door and the van doors. Okay. So, and what I observe is that, particularly in men, it is the case. I'm sorry to have to always come back to that subject, but that's, it has to do with neurosis that has been going on for thousands of years. It also has some, there are some far away origins for all of this, where this got started, and it never even got started anywhere at any specific point in history. So it's just an evolution of psychology that is happening, so throughout millions of years, basically, from our ancestor tree climbing lemurs, 3 feet tall with a long tail, rodent type of animals, worms. Those are all our distant ancestors. Okay, so then it branched off, trial and error. That's a very, very, very cumbersome, long, winding process until we get to this point. Okay, so, and we're still not anywhere near the superhuman. We're somewhere between warm and superhuman, trying to warm our way forward like a caterpillar, rather sluggishly, as Friedrich Nietzsche always used to call it. Hemshoe. I love that word. That is such an old-fashioned word that I'd never heard that before, not even from my parents. The first time I heard that word is from Friedrich Nietzsche's books, which are obviously historic in nature. They're from the 1800s, so they had different words, very, very old-fashioned, outdated words, Hemshoe, but it's very up-to-date in its meaning, of course. Friedrich Nietzsche is highly up-to-date, all of his books. So it's a mirror of society. It's still, unfortunately, a mirror of society. And he's also predicted a lot of things, but what Hemshoe means, it means the break. It means, back then they I guess, I don't know when the very first automobiles came into existence, they had this break, and in the old days in Germany they called it Hemshoe, the brake pedal, so, and I guess they even put their foot into it, because Hemshoe, like a brake pedal shoe, sort of. I don't know, but he calls Hemshoe or brake, he calls people that word who are extremely cumbersome and sluggishly going through, like, psychologically dealing with their problems, interaction and so on. they basically put the brakes on. So, because, and then entire society is kind of like this. And he also calls it treading on the spot, like treadmilling, you're walking, you're putting an effort into it, but you, at the same time, you put the brakes on. At the same time, you're treading on the spot, and that's very up to date in his observations. So not much has changed since he had written the book Thus Spoke Zarathustra in his other books. That was around 1875, 1880, something like that. So there's still a lot of treading on the spot happening. That's what I see. And it's unfortunate, and it happens through propaganda also. It happens through, now more than ever, these things are being propagated widely through media, multimedia, radio still, it's a big one. When people go to their jobs, they turn the radio on in their cars and they blindly listen to this without questioning it, and they just basically download it into their nervous system. And that's very dangerous. So these kind of mechanisms then keep people perpetuated in sexism, misogynistic behavior, and misogynistic way of thinking. Today I saw a bunch of men again commenting their diarrhea under a video, their misogynistic abuse. Oh, that was under the female companion sex robot video. Okay, so unbelievable. And they didn't even look that old. Some of them had photos. They usually show themselves with their six-pack abs. And like when I see something like this, I'm already out the door. Like, you show your six-pack, bro, you're on your own. I'm not even gonna bother, because I already know that a picture like this speaks 1,000 words, literally. It tells me 1,000-word bio about you. Like, you're a narcissist. You're probably also a psychopath. Okay, you beat women. You brag the shit out of your life, and it's just, the list goes on. And you're very much into vanity and physical appearance, and those are also the men that those are, I would say, maybe all of them, I don't know, but that's my impression when I see someone like this. Those guys that show their six-pack abs, six-pack man boob material with some tattoos. Those, like when they're, I don't know, 30 or something, they show that usually, 20 to 30. Those, I don't date those. I don't even engage very, very long in conversations. I end up blocking them very quickly just for the six-pack photos. Just for the photo alone. Because like I said, it tells me their bio, basically. If they can't even put a shirt on, they're so into themselves, like, man, they're into themselves. It's a very sad act out. That's what it is. They are also not very educated, and they're worker class. They have never been educated. It's tragic, but they should make an effort on getting educated, and instead of putting people down who are educated. So that would be a start. And a lot of them also wear gold necklaces, like the thick man gold necklaces, the pimp type. They also wear those a lot in, like, I don't know, Germany has a lot of those guys too, I guess. But a lot of them, like from Yugoslavia, they think that shows off. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to put them on the spot. I'm just observing these kind of things. They don't, it's tragic, they don't get them Pita chicks who they want. They want the Pita chicks. At the same time, they make fun of the Pita chicks. If you make fun of the Pita chicks, you can't have them. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it makes a lot of sense to me. Because them Pita chicks, that's how they talk. They don't put up with that shit. They see you having no shirt on in the photo, they go like, oh, that's the same old type again. Not interested, thank you, next. I'll take the one with the shirt and the tie. Let's check him out. So he might have read a few books. Maybe he's read some of Friedrich Nietzsche's books. I don't know. But it's those men are usually misogynistic, the ones with that showing off their man boobs. They are misogynistic. They're highly sexist. They're somewhere stuck in the Stone Age, okay? And they can't get out from under that. They're completely indoctrinated, by sexist, misogynistic talk radio hosts. There's a bunch of those also in this rural area here. It's sad. I don't know what else to say to that. It's just so incredibly, it's so pitiful, to say the least, But, all I can do is I can give facts to those people. And if I do, they come at me, they want to get even. Oh, what they really want to do is they want to beat me. They want to kick me and beat me, and they want to kick my brains out onto the pavement. But they can't do it, so they have to resort to the meanest insults that they can possibly, the insults where they know that's gonna hurt her, that's gonna really make her mad. It doesn't. It's pitiful. That's all I have to say to that. But, there's a lot of those under the Jordan Peterson videos. It's a hot spot for those guys. They also feel stepped on by women. They think that somehow women have victimized them. I don't see how, when they're the ones with the insults, I don't see too many women insulting them. They see them and they just walk away. It's like, oh, he's showing himself off without shirt. Oh, let me check the other guy out. The guy with the polo shirt on. So, okay, but I guess that's what makes these guys that want to show off so mad, because they're going through a lot of trouble. to lift weights, and then so that they can show off their muscle, boobs, whatever, chest. And then the woman walks away. How dare she walks away now, after he's been going through so much trouble, going to the gym every day and showing off? What's wrong with these women? They have no appreciation for his narcissism? Interesting, And so, so then when real criticism comes towards their way, they feel so victimized, they go completely get off the deep end. I mean, they fall. They fall into an insane bath salt frenzy. Brain is on fire, and it's incredible. It wouldn't matter to me how incredibly good looking a man is in his 20s, showing off his long-term gym work body. It doesn't matter to me if he is a complete freaking jerk, misogynistic, sexist, speciesist. Thank you. No, it's not happening. I don't even want to hang out with someone like this, not even as a friend. I don't even want to work with someone in a workplace. I want nothing to do with. If I see someone like this, acting like this, I make a big circle around them in the store also, which I have done many, many times. And that seems to be very offensive to a lot of people. It's strange, now with the virus situation, this should not be offensive anymore. This should be going without saying. She makes a circle for a reason. Yes, she doesn't want the virus. But I also don't want a narcissist. I make circles around viruses, narcissists, psychopaths, total assholes on bath salt, and total schizo, brutal, violent, and the list goes on. So, and that should be understood, that shouldn't, why do they feel victimized by that? Their egos feel victimized. That's what the problem is. So it's important to vent for women, for anyone. Women are still, obviously still not as strong as the men are. So there are some very strong women. I'm pretty strong. There are some men I could beat up potentially if I wanted to. But I only would do this as a self-defense, of course. But most of them I couldn't. Okay, and because of that situation, they always think. They feel, they always think that because they can beat us up, they feel like they feel somehow justified in their abusive behavior. Like anyone who does terrible things and nobody says something. And then the people that do terrible things, they never question themselves, because they're never questioned by anyone. And then they think that's okay. They never get the idea on their own to question their behavior. One has to explain it to them. Say, dude, insulting someone hurts that person. Did you ever think about this? Or do you think that it is okay to depersonalize that other person, woman or child or or other men or whatever. So, or animal, depersonalizing the other being, because nobody has ever pointed it out to you that this is wrong, that this hurts that other being, that the other being has feelings too. So all of this needs to be said. It's very frustrating, for me to read misogynistic comments. This entire misogynistic mind state attitude that they have towards women is very frustrating for me to see. And the only thing I can give is factual feedback, not being mean, because that just creates a war. And it's actually, if I'm mean to them, then they feel like, oh, she's mad now. I caused her emotions. Now I feel justified, or now that's like a reward. Now I can do more. So that's what goes on in their heads. They don't see the other living being as a worthy living being. They view women like depersonalized trash. Like they view women like monsters, actually, some of those. It's real scary to read these comments, to see what kind of stuff goes through their minds. They hate women. They hate them because they want them so bad. Their psychopathic behavior drives them away, drives the women away. It even drives masochistic women away, because the masochistic women will see their psychopathic behavior as weakness. And they go like, well, that's not a breadwinner or something. That's someone who's been in and out of prison. And even a masochistic woman wants a man who has their crap together somewhat, in their heads. So then the violent men, then they become so hateful of women because they want them and they can't get them, that they drive themselves into total insanity. And this hateful behavior then in turn drives the women further and further away, as like was the case of Elliot Rodger and many other men who snap, who start shooting people, particularly killing women. Ted Bundy hated women also, and went on killing them at the university, went into their rooms at night and strangled them to death. So I'm trying to get to the core of this. I know this can be healed. But it is important that people say something. And it's very important that women are saying something. Even if a lot of women will hit back sometimes with anger and angry words, and maybe with insults even. I understand where they're coming from. It's not gonna make things better though, because it just creates a war. But I know this is a reciprocal interaction. One hits the other hits back, and then the other hits back, and each one of them feels victimized. Okay? So that's not going anywhere. But we have to stand up for ourselves. We have to say something. We have to say, this is not okay. I'm not going to put up with misogynistic behavior. I'm not going to put up with a man who thinks a woman should be in the kitchen, or the woman should never even vote. Or I've seen these people on the internet, even in the chat room. I'm sad to see that. This is pitiful. You gotta understand this. I don't care where you're coming from. You might be coming from a society where they have never even seen an activist woman or an intellectual woman before. And so for them, seeing an intellectual woman who is her own person, who is independent, completely independent from society, that may come across to them as freakish. So I've seen that many, many times. And so I just want to shed some light into this. I want to bring awareness to the world about this misogynistic behavior. I want them to become aware that they are thinking and behaving in a misogynistic way, in a highly sexist way, women hating. Okay, that's not okay. That does not make the world a better place. You want a woman and you hate her. That's not working. Okay, that's not working for you. That's not making the world a better place. Okay? Women are just as much a sentient being as you guys are. Okay? We have feelings. We have despair. We have needs. Okay? Just like you have. And I see so much pride in people. I also see pride in women, of course. Pride isn't going anywhere. Pride is resistance, and it is an armor. Okay? It is an armor that does not let someone else talk to you. A cold armor that just deflects everything away. That's not how we get to know each other. Okay? The way we get to know each other is we have to take that how do they call those? No, iron shields. I have to take that, lay that down on the floor. Lay that iron shield down. Yeah, that iron shield of whatever you use as an actor. Toughness, coldness, indifference, pride. Underneath all of that is shame. Okay. Underneath all of that is self-hate. Underneath the self-hate and the shame is deep hurt from childhood. You carry on the same hurt of your dads and grandfathers. Bring it to an end, This is your chance now, okay? We have made it very far, okay? Let's keep this going, okay? Let's not roll it back into Islam, into Stone Age. Let's learn, read, interact more with women, okay? I know there are militant feminist women out there. I've seen them. I was shocked about this. It doesn't work. This doesn't move us forward, okay? Many of them might be gay, okay? And then they have absolutely no reason to make friends with men. They view men as competitors, actually. But it doesn't move us forward. That's the problem. Okay. And men need to learn that women have feelings, okay? That we have a past, that we have been hurt as well during childhood. Many of us have been sexually abused. That's a horror, okay? Right there, you should feel compassion. Right there, you should understand where a lot of behavior in women comes from, whether they're straight or gay. Okay, a lot of gay women also have been sexually abused by men, and then, of course, they hate men. They want nothing to do with them at all. We need to get to the root of it. The straight women, if they are rebels like I am, they will be criticizing men, okay? They will be saying something. They won't put up with all the shit. And the ones that are self-abusing, the masochistic ones, they will fall into exactly the same relationships with men that they have come from their own childhood. They were beaten by their dads and raped. That was the only attention they have ever received. So in their minds, they actually link that up. This is conditioning. They link that up with what they call love. Sam Vaknin talks about this as well. That's very shocking. There are women that link being beaten up with love. This is conditioning. This is an extreme misunderstanding psychologically. Okay, there is no love in that at all. Those are act outs. That's physical abuse. This is psychological abuse. And it's absolute trauma and horror. And people deal with it later on in their lives in many different ways. Most people act it out in some way, in some neurotic way. Okay. Very few are trying to address that and trying to heal themselves from those wounds in a very conscious way. It takes a lot of meditation and a lot of inwardness and a lot of attention and an alertness. It takes a lot of focus on how we feel and how people are interacting, looking at these things rather from a sky perspective, looking at it, observing and questioning and criticizing. That's what it takes in order to heal, very, very important. For men to want to get to know a woman, to not have to label themselves those incel, whatever, MAGTOW community people. It takes inwardness. It takes also questioning yourself. Find out, how did you behave towards your exes? Why did they leave? How come all 50 of them left in the same way? So obviously there's some kind of pattern. It's not all blamed on women, but that's what I see in men on the internet. They blame it all on the women. They will never ever take any responsibility for their own actions. And that's sad. And then they think that the women owe them. How in the world can you think the woman owes you anything after you abused her? How in the world can your mind be so twisting it so around that you feel entitled to her attention when you have battered her psychologically and also in many cases physically? You know, I talked about this before. There was a woman, it's a horrible story. A young woman, she meets this guy. She was working at a motel as a hotel room cleaner. And there were a bunch of guys playing cards inside of a motel room, and they saw her. She was walking by on that outside past the window, and she saw that guy and liked him, and he smiled at her. They got to know each other. He came out and asked her out on a date, and she just, without even finding out what kind of person that is, she blindly trusted him. I'm not blaming her, but this is very dangerous to do this. She trusted him and went out with him, got involved with him. They moved together. He was verbally abusive. She still stayed with him. For me, when someone becomes verbally abusive, I'm out. I'm out the door because I don't deserve it. I don't deserve someone to be verbally abusive to me. And that can escalate into physical abuse, okay? And it does in most cases. So then she got pregnant and he hit her because he is so schizo and so psychopathic that he thought if she's pregnant, she must be pregnant from someone else. So he hated her and beat her up. I heard that many times, this behavior. These men, they must feel so low about themselves that they feel like they think of themselves that if the woman gets pregnant, it could not have been from them. And she was never with someone else. And it took her a long time to explain it to him that she was never with anyone else. And then he finally calmed down. His brain is on fire. He's in a schizo, paranoid mental state. Okay. Horrific state of unempowerment and of the most extreme unempowerment there is. And out of this extreme unempowerment comes the violent acts. She still stayed with him, and then sometimes she went to her girlfriend's to hide there and would stay there overnight, and then he would get more and more angry. He would feel rejected more and more and more, but she hid with her girlfriends to protect herself. I guess by then she had a child, to protect the child. And this is not one individual case. This is happening all over the world. But it's an extreme case because what happened then is he became so physically violent that she wanted to get away from him, but she didn't know where to go. Her friends were there, her sister was there, and family in that same community. And he just tried to get other guys to help her find her, and so eventually he found her. She should have gotten far away from that community. That's the only way in those situations. He finally found her, and he shot her whole face out with bullets. Like, I don't know, like 100 bullets into her face. And she survived somehow, which is really tragic that she survived that, because it was only her face that got damaged, and the nerves in it, and the tissue, and all of that. I think the eyes weren't harmed, but everything else, the whole face. And she ended up in the hospital. They tried to give her a face transplant. So she got a face transplant from someone else who had her blood type, who had passed away through an accident or something. And these things, they happen very quickly, of course. It has to be done immediately. But then still, when someone gets some kind of implant or transplant from another body, even if it's the same blood type, they have to be taking antibiotics, which is toxic. They have to take that for the rest of their lives. Her life was not just ruined, this was worse than death. I don't know how she feels about this. I have not asked her, but this is just my personal view. I would not want to exist like that. And after all that suffering with the face transplant, that guy calls her up from prison and wants to be friends again. She didn't say anything on the phone. She didn't know what to say. She was just shocked that he would act like nothing happened. Just like, what? What's the matter? I just want to be friends. Like he's completely, like there's a total, like a disconnect in his brain. He doesn't even realize what she's going through, the suffering and that he has caused her. So I'm bringing this up because I see a lot of disconnect in the world. When I read comments under people's videos, particularly, I'm shocked about the hate towards women, this total cognitive disconnect, and the depersonalization of women. They're in their minds, they feel victimized. They make women into monsters in their minds. This is a real dangerous disconnect. Okay, this has to be talked about. Okay? This is very, very important. It's dangerous for the world. Let's not wait until we get the AGI robots that will headbutt those men that are so extremely violent. Let's not wait until that happens. Let's do that inwardness meditation process now, if you want to make anything positive in your existence. Okay? That is the only chance you have, is to go into your own mind and let go of the women or your exes or any woman or any person. Let go. Buddhist always says, let go. It's easy to say, but what I'm trying to get this letting go process, trying to get this across in the best way I possibly can. Letting go means you go into your own mind. It's not just like, oh, I just let go easy. No, it's not easy at all. That's why it is so problematic. But you have to become aware of that entire internal process in your mind. If you don't become aware, it's going to continue like this. You're going to continue to demonize women. You continue to write yourself into this victim role and into the hate, into the depersonalization. And it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And you don't even see how you have behaved, how you have mistreated her, how you caused her to overdose. You don't see it, okay? You only see your own self-pity situation. That only leads to war. That leads to your suffering. It leads to you becoming psychopathic towards another person. It leads to extreme suffering in the world. Okay, everyone is tied in with this. Okay, if you behave like this, you are part of this entire movement of war and suffering and agony in the world. It is your duty and your responsibility to dissolve that suffering, to dissolve that ego clinging, and this view, this perspective on women or on whoever you made into an enemy. Okay, get away from that enemy picture, enemy thinking. Get away from that. That's dualistic war type of thinking. Get away from that. Okay, you cannot continue like this. Absolutely not. Okay. The only path you have is the path into yourself. My videos here are hopefully helping. I want my videos to be a guide, a guardrail for that. Listen to what I say. Okay. Get into this deeper. Think about what I say. Okay. My videos are not meant to step on your ego or victimize you or make you feel abused or tie into that same story that you have about yourself. Okay. My videos are there to dissolve that pattern in you. That's the only chance you have. I see your suffering. I see it. And I care about you. All of you. I care about all of you. I see this is a tragic development. I care about Elliot Rodger, believe it or not. It's a tragic development. This should have never developed like this. Okay? No one helped him. No one was able to help him. They're all in their own neurosis. How can they help him? How can they even recognize what's going on with him? Even the people who saw the weapons that have accumulated in his room where he was living with other guys in that apartment. You know, they will see this and they go, "Oh man, bro." Yeah, but then they go away and they do their video games. I mean, yeah, this is a red flag. Yeah. Let's see the red flags everywhere. Islam, misogynistic behavior, your own victim idea that you have. That's a red flag. Dissolve it, okay? It is your responsibility to dissolve it and to go into your own mind. Let go of the other people. They don't owe you anything, okay? Women don't owe you anything, okay? Women are free, just like you are free, okay? If you want to get to know someone, that's not done through dominating her, through owning her, imprisoning her. Okay? It's not done through that. Okay? It's done through a mutual respect. Mutual respect. I don't have to earn your respect. Okay? If you think that, then it goes the same way for you. Okay, you have to earn my respect too. But I don't think that way. It's not about earning any respect or something. I see your suffering. I see what you're going through. I see this behavior pattern. Okay. That comes from your suffering, that causes misunderstandings. It causes depersonalization. It's tragic. Okay? I'm giving you tools with my videos, meditation tools that you can use to dissolve that cycle. Not in order to gain someone, to get someone, but in order to get your own life back, okay? Your own freedom back, your own peace of mind. That's what this is about. Later on, if you practice this enough, you get enough peace of mind, you will attract women in your local community. Women are scared. Teal Swan talks about this also. Women are scared of men today more than ever before. They see this violent behavior, it draws them further and further away because it makes us afraid. You should understand that, okay? Once you become peaceful, then a woman that you meet will see that, will perceive that, and will trust you more. Okay. It's more about earning someone's trust. Okay. And it's not the women beating up men, it's men beating up women. You have to understand this. Okay. So, but we all, women and men, we have to go into our own minds. Okay. We have no other choice. We have to do that inwardness meditation. And then we can gradually heal. It's a long, winding process, but it's better to start it now than never. It's better to start it at some point than continue on that old destructive loop cycle. Okay, don't do it any further. Okay, go into your own mind and begin that healing journey, and gradually you will feel more peace. You connect with more people. Very important it is to talk to people about how you feel and dissolve this shame thing, dissolve the pride. Okay, this is all pain. Okay, recognize that as pain. There's no shame in you suffering. That's tragic. There's no shame attached to it. So I don't blame someone or shame someone for suffering. Okay, I feel sorry for them. I feel compassion, and we all should feel compassion for someone else suffering psychologically or in any way. Okay, so go into your own mind. Become more open about how you feel with other people. That will make women trust you more. Okay. Once we get into a dialogue like this, we can gain trust. We can establish a mutual trust. That's what this is about. Okay. And that's all part of the healing process. Okay. You guys take care. Bye-bye.